And let's just rip this up. We got this money muscle side. Beautiful pork. Lots of smoke on it. Look at that. Man. What's up, everybody? It's Drew Wilkins with Swine Bovine Barbecue. And in this video, we're smoking some pork butt, making some pulled pork sandwiches. Let's get going. We have ourselves a nice, beautiful prairie fresh pork butt. Can't wait to smoke this thing. I don't do pulled pork enough. I should do it more often. It is super easy. Everyone loves it, and it's great for feeding a crowd. Got our money muscle over on this side, looking money. Then we've got our blade bones over here. But all in all, I don't trim a pork butt really at all. I mean, there's a little straggler here. I will go ahead and just remove that. But outside of that, the main thing you need your knife for is opening the cryovac. I don't score the top. I don't do any of that. So we'll just take some of these little flaps off. But other than that, we're just gonna roll with it as is. And for seasoning, going on with 50-50 mix of kosher salt and 16 mesh coarse black pepper. Just gonna go on with a nice heavy coating. This is a huge piece of meat. It can take a lot. Don't be afraid to season your meat. Make sure and get the sides and get this fat cap side. Our pork butt is beautifully seasoned. Let's go fire up the pit. Our pit is cruising along at 250 degrees, so we're gonna get this pork butt on. Sit it right here in the middle of the grate. Got the bone side facing the fire, so you can feel the bone right there. But just gonna set it on, kind of compact it a little if you'd like. So now we're gonna shut it down, let this puppy cook for the next several hours. We'll be back when it's time to take a look. Almost 7 hours in, and it is time to wrap this pork butt. Temping in the mid 170s, and it is looking absolutely fantastic. Let's wrap it up. And to wrap this, we're going with a foil boat. So just like a brisket, wrap it up in a nice little package around the edges. Just want the top exposed. This is gonna hold all the juices that still come out of this. So let's put it back on the pit. This is gonna go on 275 till we finish, till it's probe tender, probably around 203 in that area, facing the same way it was previously. So now we're gonna shut it down, let it finish cooking. In the meantime, let's go make a sauce. Let's go make some coleslaw. For our slaw, we're gonna go in with some green cabbage. I have it in the chute with the shredding attachment on the food processor. Makes life a lot easier to do it this way. Just take this little plunger, pulse it, push it down, and you're good to go. Then we're gonna do the same with some red cabbage. Cabbage is nicely shredded, so let's go in with some Miracle Whip, some mayo, whoops, some celery seed, some sugar, kosher salt, and some coarse, fresh, cracked black pepper. Give it all a mix. Spatula's not quick enough. This is all mixed up. We're gonna let it hang out in the fridge till it's time to eat. I'm glad I tasted it before I put it in the fridge because it needs some acidity. We forgot the apple cider vinegar. Now give it a mix. That's more like it. For our barbecue sauce, starting off with some apple cider vinegar, some sugar, hot sauce, crushed red pepper, coarse black pepper, chili powder, and some barbecue sauce. This sauce is local to Dallas. It's fantastic. You can get it at Central Market. Highly recommend it. This is essentially the Sam Jones cookbook hot sauce, except I'm adding more bottled hot sauce this time to make it a little more tomatoey based to balance out the vinegars a little bit, but I've made the Sam Jones one as is several times and it's excellent. Just modifying this one a touch. Give this a whisk, put it in a squeeze bottle, and our sauce is done. 9.5 hours later and our pork butt is done. Feeling nice and tender. So we're gonna pull this off, let it rest. Once it's done resting, we'll pull it apart, make a sandwich, and eat. Our pork has rested, and it's time to pull this pork butt and make it pulled pork. One thing I like to do is I like to pull it in a half pan. It makes it a lot easier for storage. It's just my wife and I eating this tonight. Certainly not going to go through a whole pork butt, but one of the great things about pork butt is the versatility. We can use this for several dishes throughout the week, so it certainly won't go to waste. So we're going to take this big boy, move it right over in here. We'll pull it in here. We are absolutely reserving these juices to mix back in with it. But for now, to get this out of the way, pull this in this pan. We got our pork butt. We got our bone. The test, right? Can we pull the bone out clean? Let's get some of this little edge meat off. That's a pretty clean bone. Not upset with that. It's what you want. Nice clean bone. Get that out of the way. And then let's just rip this up. We got this money muscle side. Beautiful pork. Lots of smoke on it. Look at that. Man. Oh yeah. Fall apart tender. And one of the reasons I love doing the foil boat for pork butt is the bark, right? Anytime you wrap things fully, you're gonna lose some of the crispiness of the bark. We're not losing that at all here. I mean, look at that. That is as barky as it gets, and that's gonna pay off in whatever you wanna have it in. We're making sandwiches today, but however you wanna have this, it's gonna be so good to have that bark. And we're not doing chopped pork here, like the best pork sandwich I've ever had video, which I'll link here. So finish watching this one, then go check that one out, because it truly was an unbelievable sandwich. But that one was chopped. So we had skin in it, we had a belly, we treated it like a true Carolina or East Carolina style barbecue sandwich, where this, we're going Southern style pulled pork. I'm gonna keep pulling this, then we're gonna taste it and adjust a little seasoning as needed. We've got everything lined up. We've got some delicious looking pulled pork. We have our Martin's potato roll. We've got our slaw looking really good. Some of the best barbecue sauce you'll ever have, regardless of the type. And then we also have some of our reserved juices over here. But I'd be remiss if I didn't try this pork as is before doing anything to it. So I'm gonna go in here, get a little kind of a barky piece here. Give this a shot. Cheers. Smoky, porky, salty, peppery, but not over the top in any of the flavors. That is unbelievably good. I never make pulled pork, and I do not know why. It is so good. I love it. It's huge where I'm from in Arkansas, and you go down to the deep south, pulled pork is massive. You even get it at places here in Texas, but I just never think to cook it. I don't know why, but it is so good. There's nothing to dislike about that bite I just had. It was not overly fatty. It had all the salt, the pepper, the smoke, and a little bit of the richness, but not overly rich like some of the barbecue you get. It was so good. It doesn't really need much, but just for the sake of moisture, I'm gonna dump just a little bit from this foil boat over the top. We're not gonna go crazy with it. That was maybe half of it. Then we'll mix that back in. Let's assemble our sandwich now. It's pretty easy what we're gonna do. We've got our Martin's potato roll here. Gonna get big old hunk pulled pork here. It's a good looking hunk. Just kind of mash it on there. And this sauce, I mean, the sauce is so good that I've been spooning it to myself and taking shots of it. So good. I'm gonna put a good amount on. If I was serving this for a crowd and I knew that this pulled pork was gonna be used for nothing but these sandwiches, I would sauce this whole thing right now and add more flavor to it. It doesn't need salt, doesn't need anything else, just based on the taste I've had. But it would add a little character to it. That way you wouldn't have to over sauce your sandwich when you put it on and sog up your bun a little bit. But as mentioned, this is probably gonna be made in several different ways. Probably some tacos. You could make enchiladas with this. You could do a ton of different things with pulled pork. That's one of the great things about it. So I'm not gonna put this sauce in the entire batch because I don't know what this is gonna be in a day or two. Right now it's a sandwich, So that's why we're just putting it on the sandwich. Let's get a little bit of our slaw on the top. I just love slaw on top of a sandwich. This is a really good looking sandwich. This took longer to cook than I thought it would. Shocker, you watch my videos. I'm sure you're surprised. I'm very hungry. Cheers. That is such a good sandwich. You get that great pork flavor combined with different style slaw. It's not your East Carolina style slaw. You go back to that best pork sandwich I've ever made. Completely different. It's not a super sweet slaw. More kind of like what I grew up with style slaw. And I was hoping it wouldn't shred it so much when I was putting it through the food processor earlier, but I didn't want to buy it bagged. And the thought of, I can't think of the culinary term, but thinly slicing that much cabbage sounded a little painful, so I tried to use the food processor. And it's thin like a Carolina style slaw, but it has more of the Arkansas or Memphis or Tennessee style flavors that I really like as well. And that just pairs super, super good with this pork because it's got a real clean salt and pepper flavor. You add this sauce on top of it where it's got the acidity, which melds really well with the fatty pork butt, combined with some of the sweetness. We put a decent amount of sugar in there, plus the heat from the crushed red pepper and the hot sauce. And you combine that sweet heat barbecue sauce, Finch's barbecue sauce. Again, if you're in Dallas, can't recommend that enough. And it just makes for one hell of a sandwich. It's so good. If you're having people over and they're expecting barbecue and you don't know what to cook, but you want it to be good, make this, serve them as sandwiches, and you will not have one disappointed person there. It's just foolproof and unbelievably good. I need to make this more often because I'm about to shut this down. I might devour 2 of these. This is something you can just motor through. It's not super rich and you can eat a lot of these. Holy cow, this is good. I can't wait to finish it. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, please hit that subscribe button. And if you have any suggestions on what I could do differently with this pulled pork or how you like to cook pulled pork, please leave it in the comments down below. But as always, thank you for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.